Well, I think it's an exciting day for us. We feel great about how this day has come about, and a lot of the young men that have committed to joining our program. I think some big additions that we feel like can come in here and compete and play, do a great job for us, and when it's all said and done, be great players, and that's what's exciting for us. Is a lot of hard work has been put in by Aaron Hodges and our recruiting staff. All of our assistant coaches, I think, have done a good job. You know, recruiting takes a lot of time and effort, and you've got to build relationships, and you've got to build some trust, and I know that a lot of our coaches have worked very hard to get that done. I feel confident that the players we brought in can come in here, fit in well, do a good job, be great football players, have a lot of success, and that's what we're looking forward to, is coaching these young men, and we're excited. I think all these guys have a great future here, and we can't wait to get them here. There's quite a few of them that probably will enroll early, which is even more exciting to get them here and get our hands on them right away. So, you know, these are guys that we think can come in and do a good job at Purdue. And just like recruiting, there's always going to be continued recruiting beyond this day, and we'll continue to do that all the way up until fall camp starts.
It was pretty apparent the last couple of years which freshmen were probably the most likely to play right away. Some of the guys were able to sign. Do you have a bead yet on which of these guys in the freshman class might be most likely to help you right away?
Well, I think we got a good crew of young guys. I think at the quarterback position, we have a talented young man, but it always takes a little bit while to get adjusted. But you know, we went down the depth chart this year, so I think Michael has a lot of talent and ability, and has played against good competition. So we're excited about him at the receiver position. I think we got some weapons, and well, I feel like we have some weapons already. I think we've got more. And you look at Malik Carr, who's kind of a dynamic player. Who's big and long and talented and athletic. I think we do a lot of things with him, and we're going to try to do our best to make sure that happens. And you go to Abdur-Rahim Yassim, I think he's extremely talented, very natural, very smooth, even at this point, very far along in the process. And I think this young man can come in and compete. Both these guys are enrolled early. Then you look at Colin Selvin's a big, strong, talented receiver out of Texas that we think can come in and compete as well. And you know, he's physically gifted and strong, and has played some good football. Then you look at Marcellus Moore, and this guy's just fast. I mean, he's the fastest guy in the country. We've got to do a good job of making sure we get the ball in his hands a lot of different ways. So I think he can do some dynamic things. Then you look at offensive line. These guys don't get all the credit they deserve, but we always need to make sure we bring in the best group we can, and I think all four offensive linemen we got can have an opportunity to come in and compete. Obviously, Gus Hartley being the in-state player, I think has a bright future. The fact that he can be a center, you know, this is a guy that I think can, you know, we'll see how he stacks up and measures up, but I wouldn't be shocked if he can jump in the mix. Then when you look at the defense side of the ball, we need linebackers. I think we went out and got a bunch of linebackers. I think Big Cruel has a lot of talent and size. You know, he's very athletic, plays basketball, and I think he'd be a good player. Clyde Washington has some gifts as well and has the length you want. You look at Kydron Jenkins, he's strong and thick, an inside backer. I think he can hit, be physical. And then in DeMarcus Mitchell, that's an older gentleman that we think can come in and for 2 years hopefully step in and showcase what he's all about year one. And this guy is big, he's strong, he's physical. He reminds me of a slightly bigger version of Jawan Bentley, and we just got to get him up to speed as fast as we can, because as far as ability, we think he can do that. You know, the two defensive linemen we signed, I feel great about. Bryce Austin gives us the size we need in the middle already at this point at 6'2", 305. I think that like all linemen, you got to continue to develop and get stronger and better, but he's physically where you want him to be at this point, and we're excited about him. And then Greg Hutchins is a defensive end that has some length, has played good football where he's at. We're excited about the future that he has, and I think you know, he wants to come in and be great, so we're going to throw him in the mix right away. And then you look at the secondary positions. You know, at safety, Sanusi Kane, I think, is going to come in early and compete. He's got some strength. He's got a little swagger to him, a little bit raw at certain areas, but I think he can do a good job for us. Antonio Stevens has the length and the look you want. I think he's very athletic, plays basketball as well, and we're going to throw him in the mix once he gets here come the summer months. And the corner position is a position of need. Junior college Giovanni Howard, I think he looks the part. He's got a great body. He's strong. He's physical already. He's played some good football. I think you'll see him thrown in the mix right off the bat, and we're excited to get him on campus. And then Anthony Rump is an interesting athlete, and I think he's a guy that we recruited for a long time. He wanted to play quarterback, and it wasn't until the last couple weeks where we found out that he was open to playing in the secondary that we talked to him and really expressed, hey, we need a corner. We need an athletic corner that's got size, that can run, that wants to play the position, that wants to be a great player, and he definitely was responsive to that. And I think you know, his physical attributes can help him be an outstanding corner. So you know, all these guys I think have the capability. You know, are they going to be the next David Bell, George Karlaftis, Rondell Moore? We'll see. But I think there's a handful of guys that have a bright future.
I think the mid-year number is 9. Does that sound right?
Yeah, we got quite a few. And
is that the most you've ever had?
To this point,
Can
yes.
you have more than that?
Yeah, to this point it is, and it wouldn't shock me if we continue to add to that as we continue through the next months.
When you said you're going to continue recruiting beyond signing day, you're talking mostly about the transfer market?
Without question, we're going to be active at getting some experience in here, and that will go all the way up until the summer months.
What can Malik Carr's physical dimensions add to your receiving core as a complement to what you have in terms of speed and skill also?
I think Malik is a special talent that has a rare blend of size, athleticism,
right,
strength, and speed. We want to utilize that, and that means being able to play out wide, being able to play in the slot, being able to make sure that we get him on the field. I think he's got great ball skills, so we've got to get him here and find out, hey, what does he run well, where does he like to run it, what is he best at, and we've got to make sure that happens. But when you have a guy of his size and stature, we have to do a good job of making sure we get him on the field and utilize the things he's good at early, and then continue to develop the other things so that he can get better throughout the years.
Oftentimes when you have good young players at a position, that might be something to overcome in recruiting for that position. How have you been able to keep stacking really good wide receiver classes when, you know, there are a lot of guys coming back and only one football?
I think that you know, these receivers want to play in an offense that is going to be able to showcase their skills, going to be able to utilize their talents. And I think, you know, when you look at the last 2 years at Purdue, we've had the Big Ten Freshman of the Year at the receiver position. So I think the numbers and stats speak for itself. You know, we take pride in developing skilled players, and on offense, developing the ability to throw the ball and be a vertical threat and improve your skills so that you can play at the next level if you have an opportunity to do that. And we're always going to, you know, continue to work hard at that. I think early on we probably felt we had a lot of receivers. By the end of the year we needed more. And throughout the course of the year, you never know what's going to happen. But it's important to us that, you know, we get the ball to our playmakers. And it happens to be a lot of great receivers. We're going to make sure we get it to them.
Do you know the 9 players that will come early? Who are they?
Let's see, I think Malik Carr will be here early. Gus Hartley, of course, Giovanni Howard from junior college, Josh Coltenberger, Sanusi Kane, DeMarcus Mitchell from the junior college, Marcellus Moore, Antonio Rump, and then Abdur. I may have left out one, but I'm pretty sure that's all of it to this point.
That's 9.
So
Who are candidates maybe to add to that list?
Well, I think when we say add to the list, like I said, we're still actively recruiting. The grad transfer market, any type of market where there's older experienced players that are looking to leave somewhere and go play, we are going to be actively recruiting that.
Just with your quarterback, I believe it's pronounced Alemo, is that right?
Yes, Alemo.
What stands out about him, and how does he fit into kind of how you see this offense evolving over the next few years?
I think Michael Alemo has a big arm. He's actually has some athleticism as well to go along with it. He's got good size, he's got big hands. I think he's played against great competition in New Jersey in the conference he's in. I think he's played an offense that didn't really spread it out and let him just throw it all over the field. He had to run in a two-back system and go underneath center and do a lot of things that make it hard, a little bit harder to get your stats maybe where you wanted to get them, but he still performed very well. And I just think that he's got a lot of arm and fits what we do as far as getting the ball to receivers and playmakers, standing in the pocket, seeing the field. And when you think of trying to develop a prototypical pro-style quarterback, Michael has some good abilities for that, and I think he'll come in and compete.
He won't be here early like most quarterbacks.
Right.
Does that put him behind in any way?
Well, you know, coming in early is a bonus. I don't think you have to do that. Obviously, it's a bonus, and it gets guys ahead if you want to. For quarterbacks, yeah, it's going to be beneficial, but at the same time, I think that we'll get them here in the summer, and we'll get our hands on them in the summer months, and be able to somewhat work with him on certain things, and then come fall camp, we'll see where he's at. But you know, I think he'll be in the running for the competition.
On a side note, are you going to have enough quarterbacks for the spring?
Well, as you guys know, we're a little low at certain things that we're trying to address, and we'll continue to try to do that. We'll practice the ones we have.
The backstory on Yassim, and just how you guys got involved in him, or is it somebody you've had on your radar for a while?
Well, I believe with Abdur and his father, we were the first ones to offer over 2 years ago, and I remember them coming down and visiting with us, had a good visit, and a while back he committed somewhere else, and Coach Shepard was the lead recruiter there, and just kind of kept in contact. Didn't really do much more than that, and just kind of as you got closer to making the true decision and signing on the dotted line, I think Abdur is a player that wants to showcase what he's all about, get an opportunity to be as good as he thinks he can be and play at the highest level, develop his skills to maybe play beyond. I think he felt comfortable that we provided him that opportunity, and that he trusted him, and his father trusted us that we were going to help him utilize those skills and put them on display year one, and get a chance to compete and do great things and take care of him off the field and develop him to be a great man. But I think just because we had a previous relationship early in the recruiting, as we got towards the end, it definitely made a big factor in the fact that these guys trusted the things that we think we can do with his skills, and the things that he knows that he wants to be good at, I think can happen here.
In talking about him earlier, you mentioned he was smooth. Does he have some David Bell characteristics to him?
Without question, he does. I think when you look at the receiving core, Abdur's caught a lot of footballs. When you watch him play, yes, he is smooth. His ability to run routes, catch the ball, accelerate, natural ball skills, inside, outside, wherever you line him up, score touchdowns, make plays. Yes, we think he has a very unique ability that we would love to get our hands on early in the spring and see how far we can get him where he's ready to play.
All right. Signed 2 junior college players. Are you done with junior college players?
No.
Okay, so you're still in that market as well?
Yes.
Over time, it seems like junior college players do take a little bit to get adjusted to the next level of football. Can you be patient with these guys, knowing the immediate help that you need at those 2 positions?
I think every year's different. I think we have some needs we need to address. Those positions we think we need to address as far as adding some experience, depth, and guys that can possibly play right away. I think in general, on the defensive side of the ball compared to learning the offense, you can play and adapt and adjust easier on that side. And when you look at DeMarcus Mitchell, this is a big, athletic, physical specimen. Can he come in and beat Jerron Bentley right away? No, he probably cannot do that, but I'm not going to put anything past him. I mean, this guy we think is very talented, and we've got to just catch him up to speed as fast as we can and make sure the package is enough that he can handle. And then you look at Giovanni Howard, he's physically built. You look at pictures of him see him in person. This guy is physically built and ready for the position. It's just a matter of getting him up to speed on how we call things and what we do. But this guy's played two years or so of football against the junior college ranks and done a good job. So yeah, I think both those guys can come in and have an opportunity to play right away.
You hit the New Jersey, New York market pretty hard, just their year where they had a lot of talent there, or is this an area that you'd like to maybe cultivate a little bit more?
Like I said, every year's a little different. I think Coach Poindexter has a lot of great connections up east. We were able to identify some guys early on. We were able to get some position coaches involved early on. You know, with this early signing day, you're able to kind of move forward to the next class in this month of January, which we'll do as well. And we've got to be aggressive. We've got to identify who we like in an early stage so that when these weeks happen in January recruiting, we know exactly where we're going and what we're doing. And I think we did a pretty good job last year early on of doing that. Our coaches did, our recruiting department did, and we've got to continue to make sure we're being as ahead of the curve as we can as far as being on top of that, so that in January we're going after the next bunch. But as far as, you know, New Jersey, we had some success there, and you know, I can't really tell you exactly why, other than we had some good relationships. Coach Poindexter did, and then our other coaches got up there, and we actually, you know, me being up there the last couple weeks, we have some good relationships and people that we know there that you know, have trusted us to send their players to us, and we feel good about the connection.
What type of runner is Tariq Murphy?
We really like Tariq. This is a young man that works extremely hard. He's strong, he's physical, he's got athleticism as well, and I think he has a bright future. You know, Tariq plays at Christ the King, who I visited the school this past week, and we talk about a hard-working group of guys that you know, have to get up early and beat the traffic or ride the subway to get to school. They've got to, every day in practice, they've got to take the subway down the street a couple blocks to get to practice in full pads and back. These guys are handed nothing. I think this is a young man that, when he gets here, will thrive. And it sometimes will take a while, and that's not a question about that, but he is physically talented, and he's an extremely hard worker, and I think he can come in and compete right away.
Jeff, what's still on your, I guess, to-do list for February? Maybe as a position or two that you don't think you're able to really fulfill with this early period here?
I think for us, the offensive defensive line is always going to be a priority, and we're going to make sure we continue to see what we can do to, you know, get more young men in here that are maybe a little farther along and ready to play, and throw them in the mix. So the offensive line, number one, I think we'll continue to look at the defensive line a little bit. Linebackers, we have a lot of young linebackers, but it wouldn't hurt to add an experienced one if we can find one that we like, and also possibly at the corner position. Those are probably the main areas that we'll look at.
What about quarterback?
Quarterback, we will always look for that, and we have, and I would never rule out any position. So if someone we can identify that we feel like is a perfect fit, that can help us right away, we'll move on that. You know, the last couple of years we've had opportunities. I try to be as honest as I can in this graduate transfer quarterback market, and I think it's easy to stockpile guys. We could have last year, we could have the year before, stockpile guys by maybe not giving them the full truth, but I don't want to do that. You know, I think, you know, last year we had Elijah Sindelar, and I had to be honest and say, hey, this guy will probably be our starter. We'll give you an opportunity. But every year's different. So I think, you know, I want to have the perfect combination of being honest with all of the quarterbacks coming in, but also providing an opportunity if we think it fits. So yes, we'll continue to look for that.
Ryan Brand, has he submitted his letter yet, or can you comment, I guess, if he hasn't?
I can't comment about anybody that's not on this sheet.
When do you plan on hiring a defensive coordinator? Do you have a timetable for that?
I think that you know, we're in the process of looking at that right now, and we'll continue to be thorough with that. I don't want to rush into, you know, any quick decisions. I want to make sure we, you know, identify all the things we need to, and research it, and you know, make sure we make a very educated decision.
Can you say what you're looking for, template-wise, a young up-and-comer, or do you want a veteran guy?
Well, there's a big list of all those things that you can look at. I'm not really, wanting to push for one thing or the other. I think it's whatever can make our defense the best it can be, and I think you have to look at all the pluses and minuses of each one and how they fit in with what we have. But without question, just being very thorough in our research and exploring this so that we make the right decision. But not in particular. No, whoever we think is the best fit to help our defense and help our team win.
We haven't talked to you since Lorenzo Neil made his announcement. Talk about what that means and maybe how close he came to really playing last year.
With Lorenzo, we're excited that he has, decided to come back and play. I think that, throughout the course of last year, you have to respect all your players and what's going on with them, and we wanted to do that for him. To his credit, he worked hard to get back. And I know he didn't get on the field, but this young man worked hard to get back. Just some things that happened along the way, and it didn't work out, and it wasn't the perfect scenario for him, and we've got to just move on from there. The fact that he wants to get well and be back on the field, we're going to help him in every aspect to do that. Now, as I've talked with Lorenzo many times in the last couple of weeks, it's going to be a priority for me, especially, but even our position coaches and assistant coaches, to make sure we're on every step of the way for him, because I know what he wants. He wants an opportunity to get healthy, obviously get a degree, but have an opportunity to play at the next level and showcase what it's all about. So, I need to do a great job, our coaches need to, of making sure we stay on every step of the way of Lorenzo. And while it's going to go right down the right path, we want to make sure that we're motivating and pushing him to make sure that he gets to as 100% as he possibly can, where he feels good and feels comfortable, and he's ready to go for fall camp.
Is Rondale coming along okay? Do you think we'll see him in spring football participating in activities and drills?
I think when it comes to Rondale's hamstring, as far as the information I'm gathering, it's in a good place right now, and there's some other things we're going to get healthy on him throughout the spring, so I'm not for sure when you'll see him out there, but as far as his hamstring, yes, he is feeling very good.
You weren't surprised that Elijah's not coming back?
We've had numerous discussions, myself and Elijah. I think that we're grateful for everything that he's done for this program, and he's an extremely hard worker and very smart and intelligent. For a couple games, he led the country in passing before the injury. And these things happen, and you have to kind of deal with it. And I think with Elijah, he has a great education. He's worked hard to excel in the classroom. He's got other good things going on in his life, and we want to respect the best decision for him and wish him the best in whatever he wants to do. But for our standpoint, we'd love to have Elijah back. I think he's could do as good as he wants to, but we also want to respect his decisions.
The state of Michigan produced 5 guys, but you sort of talk about your success up there in the Mitten State.
Well, I think Coach Shepard's done a great job. Before we had Derek Jackson up there, building relationships with these coaches, recruiting these young men, getting to know their families. We think there's a lot of great football in that area. We've had good success in the last couple of years bringing young men down here to be a part of our program, and we think we got a lot of good players this year from there. And we'll continue to recruit that hard. It's not that far of a drive, we feel very good about recruiting that state for the future as well.
Just a quick question on this is the 4th, it's hard to believe it's your 4th signing day press conference here at Purdue. How has it evolved from where you thought it was when you got here to what it is now in terms of your building your foundation, recruiting, and what your emphasis is in recruiting?
I think recruiting is something that now we're in the ballpark we want to be. We feel like we can go out and get top-notch talent to come here and want to be a part of it. We got great facilities, great administration, great fan support, some really good young players. We think there's a bright future. Now that doesn't mean it just happens. You got to work for it. You got to earn your stripes. So, the harder we work, the more we produce, the more we put in. will help as well. So it's important that you know, all of our guys are committed to wanting to win. All of our coaches are committed to wanting to win. That means you know, doing what you're supposed to and a lot more. And I think that that's going to be our goal this year, is to make sure we do a lot more. And while there's a great nucleus of really good players, we've got to make sure everyone on the team is doing their part. And that's what has to happen. If we've got to get everyone to buy in and want to do their part, want to do more, want to find ways to lay it on the line and have some fun competing to be the best you can be every single day, and push this thing forward. But we're definitely right where we need to be, and it's just a matter of excelling in every aspect of it, winning some football games and attacking this recruiting the way we should. That means identifying and bringing them in here and getting them to play for us.
What are Gus Hartwig's strengths, and where do you see him slotting in eventually?
Well, we really like Gus. I think Gus has played some good football. He can do a lot of things on the offensive line for us. The ability to snap the ball at his size, and you know, numerous talents he has is a bonus. And you know, he's going to get here early. We'll get him in the mix, and we'll see what we need to do to press him forward. But I think you know, he's got the look you want. He's got the athleticism you want. I think he wants to be here and compete, and we're excited to get him on the field right away.
I forgot one. You've got a couple guys who want to do other sports as well. What's kind of your general philosophy on Marcellus Moore running track, Malik Carr playing basketball, and how you recruit those guys when they want to do multiple sports?
Well, they're lucky because their head coach played multiple sports. So I have a little bit of leeway when it comes to that, and I want to make sure, you know what, there's a lot of guys that are physically talented and gifted, and in today's age of even high school football and sports, people like to concentrate on one and kind of get pushed that direction. I'm the opposite. You know, the more sports you can play, the better. I wish more people did it. Obviously in college it gets a little tougher, without question it doesn't. But you know what, if someone is talented enough to do that, we want to give them an opportunity. So Malik Carr, Marcellus Moore, we want to provide them an opportunity to live out a dream, see where that goes, and we're all for it.
Anything else? Coach, thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.